I do not care if you are good at math or bad at math. Everyone can get this question right. This is a must get. Now, I get that it looks kind of crazy. In fact, it probably looks like math that many of you have never even seen before in math class in school. Like, it's advanced stuff. But the reason we can get it is the structure of the way it's built, right? Like, look at this algebra here. Do we ever need to solve for x? No. X is a placeholder. And we could change the way that this equation works. We could kind of look at it and do some weird algebra to make it look like one of the answer choices, but we don't need to do that. We can just arithmetize and turn this into arithmetic by picking any number. If x is a placeholder, we can replace the placeholder with a number, and so we would get a value for the first thing and then match that with the values for the choices and see which one fits. Now, normally, if you watch a lot of these videos, what you'll see me do is pick some numbers that are very lazy for x. And I usually pick numbers like 0 and 1. And that's because those are lazy numbers that make a lot of math really easy. They turn variables into nothing, right? A 0 is going to make a variable disappear. 1 is very convenient a lot of times. And yeah, these numbers have some drawbacks. They occasionally cause a problem where one answer choice or where multiple answer choices match with my question. And so I need to then pick a new number to make sure and kind of figure out what the final answer is. And some people really hate that, and for that reason they advise you not to use 0 and 1. I think they're wrong. I think these numbers are really great. But for this particular question, I'm going to show you how I really do pick my numbers. It's not just that I always pick 0 and 1. I pick numbers that are really convenient and lazy for the particular situation. So if I were to pick 0 here, there would be a lot of good that comes out of it, right? If I were to pick 0, all of the original thing would reduce to -5 over -3, or just positive 5/3. That's great. But I'm a little nervous about those negatives, and I see that in the choices there's a lot of negatives as well. And just knowing myself and knowing that I lose negatives because I'm moving fast and sometimes, a little smudge can look like a negative, like it happens, I'm going to try to avoid them. And so what I'm going to pick instead is, in this case, I'm going to pick the number 4. Now that seems random, and again, it kind of is. You can pick any number. The only number you can't pick here is 3 because it's going to make the equation undefined. But I'm picking 4 because I know what I want to happen. I don't like negatives, I don't like fractions. And if I pick 4, then that means the bottom of this equation is just 4 minus 3, which is 1. Meaning my fraction disappears. And the same thing's going to happen in all those answer choices, right? All of those answer choices also have an x minus 3, so all of them are going to be 4 minus 3 and be 1. That makes me a little bit more confident in what I'm about to do. It removes the complication. Right? It's lazy in that I'm thinking ahead, and I know that I'm removing the idea of a fraction from this. But if I pick 4, it's got to be 4 everywhere, right? So that means 4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 5. So I removed one complication. Maybe I created another by now having some slightly bigger numbers, but it's okay. 4 squared is 16, 2 times 4 is 8, and 5 is 5. So 16 minus 8 is 8, minus 5 is 3. So this amounts to, let me just put it up here, 3. So now what I want to do is find the number 3 in one of my answer choices. And I got to do the same thing. I got to plug that 4 in for all the x's. Once I make x 4, it's got to be 4 throughout the whole problem, as long as I'm still doing this step. So I'm looking for an equivalent expression. So I need to get an equivalent number. I need to get a 3. So let's change colors not to confuse things here. So let's do A. That would be 4 minus 5 minus 20, and 4 minus, I'll do it here, 4 minus 3, remember, is 1. So that's 4 minus 5 minus 20. Well, that's just a really negative number. I don't even need to deal with it here. That's just going to be crazy small, so that's not going to be the answer, right? So let's keep going. Let's do B. That's 4 minus 5 minus 10 over 1, which is 10. So again, that's really negative. I know this is wrong. 2 negative. I need a positive 3. C, 4 plus 1 minus 8 over 1, right? So 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. We're getting close. Maybe I think did I lose a negative somewhere in the beginning? But no, it's trust the work. Trust the work. D, 4 plus 1 minus 2 over 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. And that's the answer. And look, yeah, there's a way you can do it where you can divide polynomials and get a remainder, but I know how to do that, and I'm promising you it is not the right way to do these. That method is very prone to mistakes, and most people kind of only remember like half of it. So it's not just that even if you know it right, you can make the mistake. It's that you might not remember it as well as you think you do. Here, what do we really need to remember? We need to remember how to add and subtract. Maybe divide a little bit. Those are things that you've known how to do for years. This skill was maybe 2 weeks in pre-calculus or 2 weeks in algebra 2. That's not enough for you to be an expert on this. So I strongly advise you to take advantage of the math SAT strategies whenever you can. And in this case, knowing the strategy and being a little clever with it, let me make this math really, really simple. I picked 4 because it was a lazy number in the context of this particular question. If I had picked 1 or I picked 0, I would have still gotten the right answer. I think in this case, 0 and 1 would have led me to have 2 answers that work at first, so I would have had to try 2 numbers. That's okay, that happens sometimes. It's not the end of the world. Regardless, I got a hard question right without really that much effort. And this is why, even if you're not good at math, if you know how to apply the strategies, you can turn some of these really hard things into points, and points that most people aren't getting. So target this. Look at this, and if you can look at this and know instantly that it's an arithmetized question, you are in really great shape. That's step 1, is being able to recognize when the strategies are going to help you. This is a clear-cut case. Lock these points in. Really work for this. This is worth it.